Hi, this is Michelle View from CrossFit Invictus, and I am here to talk to you today about CBD and the past two blog posts that I wrote a couple weeks ago. You can go back and check on those. From those, we received a lot of questions from the audience, from you guys, and so I'm going to attempt to answer most of those questions today. I do want to just let you know there is a ton of information out there. There's a lot on both sides of the issue. There's laws surrounding it. There's politics surrounding those laws. And there's you and your kind of own personal needs. So I highly encourage you to do some more research other than what I'm telling you. And not just for CBD and medical marijuana products, for anything that you're gonna do to your body or put on your body or have consume your time. You should put some thought and research into that and not just take one person's opinion. But I have done a lot of research in this area. And that being said, I'm gonna try to answer the questions that you guys came up with online last week. Okay, so question number one, is CBD legal? This really depends on where you live. So it is in some fashion legal in 38 out of the 50 states. Some of those are CBD only laws, meaning basically non-THC laws. So the CBD is the different compound than THC in the plant, just as a reminder. You do not get high from CBD and you do from THC, which is why there's laws surrounding the two and it differentiates. And getting into the legalities, it is quite thick and it can be a little bit complicated. So we'll just leave it at that. CBD only laws, there's medical use laws, and there's also recreational laws. So currently 4 states have recreational laws, meaning anyone who is 21 or over can go into the dispensary, which is the store that sells medical marijuana products or marijuana products, and they can purchase. You don't have to be a resident of that state. You don't have to have a special card. If your state has medical marijuana laws like California does, you will actually need to go and get a prescription from a doctor, and they give you this very official looking card, and then you're allowed to go to any of the dispensaries and purchase marijuana products. Okay, so those are kind of your options right now. We'll talk a little bit more about your opportunity to make some change in your state at the end of this presentation. So question number 2, this has come up a lot. Is CBD a banned substance for athletes? And I was actually just talking to one of our athletes about this. Yes, this is a banned substance. You need to be aware of what you're putting in your body, okay? It's a banned substance during competition season, okay? That means you can use it outside of the season, right? And you could also apply for a therapeutic use exemption. That's a little bit of a process through the anti-doping agency, but it is a potential for you to do that. And there's been actually quite a large athlete push to make this or to unban this substance because of the value that it has for inflammation and pain reduction. You're not having to rely on prescription medications or over-the-counter medications. It's actually been shown to be much safer for that. And it's been showing extreme promise for people with traumatic brain injuries as far as healing the brain. And there's been a big push by NFL players to allow this treatment because of concussions and the severity of the results from those down the road. This has been shown to actually provide a lot of help with that. So if you're an athlete and this is important to you, this is a topic you might want to jump on board with and check out and see what it would take for a group of us to get together and keep pushing for the use of this medically, okay? Next question kind of comes along with that. Will I fail a drug test? If you ingest the CBD substance, yes, you will fail a blood test, because a drug test, urine or blood, because it will enter your bloodstream. So if you were using one of these, and I'll go over these products here in a minute, and you were actually eating and swallowing, consuming the product, then yes, you will pop positive. However, it is highly unlikely that you would test positive by using one of these salves or lotions because it won't enter your bloodstream. So it's going to cross the skin muscle barrier, but it's not going to cross into the bloodstream. Therefore, you shouldn't pop positive. However, do your own research, please. Do not blame me if something goes down. But from everything that I've looked at, it would be very highly unlikely for that to occur, okay? What's the best way to take CBD? So that's kind of an intro or a segue into this next one. I have some products laid out here today, and there are some things to consider when you're dosing. One is, what is it that you're taking it for? Can you apply it topically? Let's say like I shared with you about my knee arthritis and the pain that I was feeling from that. These topical applications work wonders. 30 to 60 seconds, and I was pain-free in my knee, okay? So that was for immediate pain relief. It takes effect right away. So what we're trying to consider is the time of onset. So for me, 30 to 60 seconds, super quick onset, and the duration of the effect. And I found that this would last me a couple of hours, okay? Let's talk about, for example, the vape pen, the vaporizing pen. This is actually a concentrated oil in there, and it's heated up by the pen and vapors come out. So it's not actually smoke, you're inhaling vapors. This is an immediate effect, but has a very short-term duration. So let's say you have migraines or something like that. You could puff on this and you would feel immediate effect by that. But if it's like one of those migraines that lasts all day, you would probably have to continue to do this every 30 minutes to an hour, okay? However, there are some oral ways to take this. I have some drops here in a tincture. This is pure CBD oil. This actually mixed in with MCT oil. So what they do is they use the oil to suspend the CBD particles, and one serving of this is actually one full tincture. So you just put that underneath your tongue. That's going to take 30 to 90 minutes to kick in, but the effects are going to be 4 hours or more. And that's going to be the same for any of these oral doses. This is actually called Rick Simpson oil, or known as Phoenix Tears. Google that, look it up online. This is the stuff, this actually has THC in it as well. So this is CBD and THC, very high percentages. If you go online and look at the studies, this is what they've been using for cancer patients, and it's been shown to kill tumors and reverse effects of cancer. Also, people with seizures and epilepsy, they found that THC is actually an important component of that treatment and not just the CBD. So sometimes you can get a mix of it, or you could get, this is just CBD honey is what it's called, and it's very low THC, has a percentage here. It's only 2.35% THC, which keeps it under the legal threshold of 3%, which is why this could actually be sold in a recreational store versus medical. And the CBD content, almost 75% on this. So this is very high CBD, but there is a little bit of THC in here. For most people, it wouldn't be enough to give them the feeling high effect of THC. So this is still a good option for people. And then there are all kinds of candies and chews and things that you can get if you prefer that. We'll talk about label reading here in a minute. I'm not a huge fan of these, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But there are options out there, from chocolate bars to soda or whatever it is that you're looking for. Pretty much anything that you can come up with to consume or apply, they have a product for that. And when you go to your dispensary or your shop, they are super knowledgeable on all the products and how to use them and the dosages. So ask them. That's what they're there for. Most of them really want to support this cause and the people who really need this medicine. So talking about dosage, what is the optimal dosage? Again, it depends on you and your tolerance to the amount of THC in the product and how the CBD affects you. Because some people find, maybe 20 minutes after taking their CBD dose, they are knocked out. So you need to prepare to be in a place ready to go to bed. Or most people would start with even a smaller dose of 1 to 3 milligrams and a very high CBD and low THC, and then up the dose every couple weeks until you find a level. But again, always consult the experts at the shop, consult your physician if you have any questions on that, because the dose is going to vary by person, like I said, okay? What should you look for in a product, all right? Labels are huge, just like they are when we look at our food labels. We need to be looking at the labels on these as well, because we're putting this in our body. If the CBD is, if it's absorbing in, everything else in this bottle is also absorbing into your body, okay? So we need to make sure we're putting high quality ointments on, and that the food, the CBD product we're eating is high quality. So this one, for example, I'm not a huge fan of, and I said it has sugar, there's corn syrup in here, vegetable oil, okay? And when we're looking for products, we're looking for the same quality we would eat. So this is organic MCT oil and CBD. That's it. That's all that's in here. This is one of my favorite products. This one is actually a lotion. This you would apply topically. Let's say you had sore muscles or maybe a little bit of tendinitis or something like that. You would put this right directly on the spot. This one says cannabis oil extract, Kirkland body lotion, and essential oil. So there's not like a bunch of other weird stuff mixed in. This is a local company. These are actually two local companies, Greener Side and Leaf Organics. This is the salve that I like to use on my knee, and it's made with cocoa butter, grapeseed oil, lavender, and then this whole flower CBD extract. So pay attention to that, and especially if you're going to use the vape pens, ask them what the solvent was used to make this oil, okay? Because this comes from a very thick resin on the plant, and we'll actually get into that in a minute. And they have to thin it out a little bit by adding a solvent. And there are very harmful solvents that you don't want to be ingesting, okay? So you definitely want to look at that. You want the CO2 based, or there's like a food grade solvent that they can use. If they use anything else like hexane or whatever, that's going to be super dangerous when you're inhaling it, okay? Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. Drug interactions. That was a question that someone had. Will this interact with prescription medications, over-the-counter medications? Typically not. However, there are a class of drugs that this could potentially interact with, so you do need to talk to your doctor before you start a regimen with this. But the question to ask is, do you take any medications that interact with grapefruit? Because that same compound that's in the grapefruit that interacts with like heart medications, blood pressure medications, and those things, the statins is the same kind of thing in the CBD plant. So you do want to be cautious of that if you're on any of those types of drugs. Definitely talk to your doctor about interactions, but typically no, it's a completely safe, very few side effects, and that's one of the major benefits. Where can you purchase this stuff? If you live in a state with marijuana laws intact, then you can either go get your medical card and purchase it, or you could walk right in to a dispensary or specialized shop to do that. I'll tell you where you cannot purchase it right now, or I do not purchase online products. CBD from hemp plants are sold online, but CBD from cannabis plants cannot be sold online, okay? And there is a huge difference in the two. So you really need to go to your trusted dispensary for now. And to find those and the products that they carry, there's two cool apps for your phone. One is called Leafly, and one is called Weed Maps. And you could actually go locate dispensaries in your area and actually view what products they have on hand. So you don't just have to show up and hope that they have what you're looking for. You can know ahead of time. And I do want to touch one other thing, the difference between the CBD derived from hemp versus cannabis, because we did get a lot of questions about products that you could purchase online. And like I just mentioned, you cannot purchase cannabis CBD products online currently. Hopefully that will change in the next year or so. And if you think you've found a source for that, hit me up. I'd like to check it out so I can recommend it to others if that's true. But they're probably flying under the radar if they're doing that, and it might not last super long. So you might keep that a secret from the interwebs and just let your good friends know if you find that. However, so I'm getting back to my question, the difference between CBD from hemp and cannabis. Basically, the hemp plant is an industrial plant, and it's only legal because it doesn't have that much THC in it. So the government said, cool, you guys can grow this, and it can be used for furniture and clothing and textiles and that type of stuff. The cannabis plant is where all the goods are, all right? That's where the super high resin CBD comes from. It comes from mostly the buds and the flowers, and that's not present in the hemp plant. So they have to use mass quantities of hemp plant, and these are harvested under conditions with pesticides and all kinds of other things. So you're getting extra toxins in there with very low CBD content, and compared to the cannabis plant, which is super rich in that. Okay, so you're probably not actually getting CBD, and that was one of the big issues that the FDA had when they started testing the products and thinking about or talking about regulation, was that they tested a bunch of these hemp products online, and most of them had very little to no CBD. So basically, it's just people banking off the consumer and their need and desire to ease these medical conditions. So be patient, go out and vote, because a lot of you guys, most states will have an option or an opportunity to make some sort of change in their medical marijuana laws, and just try to reduce the stigma. That's what these posts are about. Remember, this doesn't get you high. This is medicine, and it can be used for hundreds of different ailments, and it keeps people off the dangerous drugs. So that's the questions in a nutshell. If you have any more, definitely respond to this post. And I'm linking a bunch of resources to the bottom, including information on the elections and where to get more detail about all of this. So that's all for me today. Thank you guys.